In this video, I'm going to teach you about the AWS Shared Responsibility Model. Welcome back to the Thoughtful Techie Cloud YouTube channel. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to teaching you AWS Cloud, helping you break into tech, and level up in your tech career. Okay, so if I were to tell you you could just deploy your workload into AWS and boom, you're okay, what would you say to that? If you answered yes, you're going to be okay, and that's all you need to do, you would actually be wrong. That's why you need to understand the AWS Shared Responsibility Model. What is that anyway? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. The AWS Shared Responsibility is simply a line of demarcation, as I like to call it, between what you need to do as a customer and what AWS is responsible for as your cloud provider. You need to understand what you are responsible for when you deploy your workload on AWS and what AWS is responsible for, so you make sure that your workload meets well-architected best practices. Simply put, AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud, and you as the customer are responsible for the security in the cloud. Now let's break down what AWS is responsible for, starting at the very bottom of the stack here. AWS is composed of regions where AWS operates in the globe, their services. Availability zones are one or more data centers that comprise an availability zone, and the availability zones make up the regions. Edge locations are aligned with the CloudFront Content Delivery Network service. This maps to the infrastructure, which is one of the things AWS is responsible for, caring for and making sure that all of the underlying infrastructure is secure. That's the infrastructure that allows them to provide the services you consume as a customer to you. So they're responsible for that. That includes all the hardware and all of the AWS global infrastructure that comprises the AWS cloud itself. That would be things like compute and storage and database and networking. Also, the software, which is the hypervisor, that also works with the Elastic Compute Cloud to make sure you have the compute power you need from that hypervisor down all the way through the infrastructure. Now, one thing I wanted to mention here, there are often times where you may decide to use a managed service. Let's take Amazon Relational Database Service, for example, also abbreviated as Amazon RDS. RDS allows you to run a database on AWS, but you don't have to patch the server or be responsible for patching the database engine like you would in a traditional Elastic Compute Cloud instance. AWS will not expose that operating system to you, so it means you don't have to patch it. All you need to do is focus on optimizing your database and optimizing the performance of it. Things like database engine updates are pushed out to your database via AWS, and you can elect when you want that maintenance schedule to work. Now, that is a higher level abstraction than you operating the whole server infrastructure yourself, which means AWS will be responsible for even more when you use the managed services. Now, let's go to that customer piece here, which is the responsibility of you as a customer in the cloud. Things such as client-side data encryption and data integrity and authentication. These are decisions that you need to make in terms of whether these features should be turned on based on the requirements of your application and the workloads you're deploying. Things such as server-side encryption, file system and or data encryption, networking traffic protection, encryption, integrity, and identity services. These are all decisions and touch points that you would need to make independent of what AWS is responsible for. Moving along here, the operating systems, networks, and firewall configurations. So let's say you use EC2, which means you're responsible for the entire virtual server. including any operating systems you would load. You need to focus on hardening those operating systems. You need to make a decision as to whether or not you should put agents on there to scan for viruses, how you need to manage that. But remember when I said earlier, if you elect for managed services, that's where AWS will step in a little bit more and manage some things on your behalf. So that line of demarcation kind of raises a little bit in your favor if you elect to go with the managed services, which, by the way, I highly recommend using managed services because it removes much of the undifferentiated heavy lifting from you, allowing you to focus your time and energy on innovating on behalf of your customers. Now let's look at the platforms you build, the applications you're coding, and your identity and access management, both for your AWS accounts as well as the resources within your account. Yes, you guessed it, you're responsible for all of that. And to wrap it up, customer data is your responsibility, how you protect it, whether it's private, whether it's public, whether it's encrypted, whether you want to replicate it from one region to the next. These are all decisions that you need to make on your own that are separate from anything that AWS is securing on behalf of the physical infrastructure in which your workloads run off of. So this is just a quick take on the AWS responsibility model. If you have any questions, make sure you drop those in the comments below. I'm happy to engage with you in the comments and possibly even make additional YouTube videos on different topics that might be related into this. Maybe we can deep dive on some things. But in short, the way I'd like to wrap it up is the shared responsibility model in AWS are things that AWS is responsible for, which is the responsibility of AWS, which is the security of the cloud. And then things you're responsible for as a customer of AWS would be the responsibility of security in the cloud. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I made it very convenient here for you. Just click down there in the lower right-hand corner. Go ahead and subscribe and look forward to more videos here in the future. And check out the catalog on my YouTube page for more great AWS videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.